Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News. Special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well that you can download our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1 followed by the words Spot and Media. Charity organization Food for the Poor Jamaica is concerned about questions relating to the cost and standard of houses being built under the partnership with the government. The 2-bedroom board houses are being built under the Housing Opportunity, Production and Employment Hope program. It replaced JEEP last year. Members of Parliament who met with Hope representatives yesterday said they were not only dissatisfied with the high cost of the units, but also with their inferior quality. Chairman of Parliament's Infrastructure and Physical Development Committee, Michael Phillips, said termites have taken over the houses and beneficiaries are forced to deal with unfinished floors and ceilings.
I am having a problem with the houses in my own constituency. Because when a house is constructed, and most times these are persons who basically live nowhere, and I'm sure in the same in Member Holness's constituency where it is cold. Sometimes the quality of the house that is built is so substandard too, that some of our constituents can't even move in the house immediately, because if they don't get some Celotex and put in the roof, cold kill them inside there, especially in that upper room, the loft. They can't move inside there. The floors in some instances are incomplete. I have a house now that termites is eating it out.
In a statement, Food for the Poor said it has received no notice from government. The organization is therefore hoping that statements by the MPs are not indicative of the government's official position. Food for the Poor says they have not received any complaints about termite infestation under the project, and the houses must be certified by the state. Residents in Clarendon who were badly affected by the heavy rains in April received relief checks yesterday. Minister of Labour and Social Security Shahini Robinson says 50 persons were given checks totaling over $9 million.
Total, over 444 families were affected in St. Thomas, Clarendon, and St. Elizabeth and Portland. But the majority of persons affected were in the parish of Clarendon, 418 families. And we are here today to deal with those persons. While we understand that it might not take care of all the needs, we are trying as best as we can. And I want to point out that we have given mattress, 2-burner stoves, in some, not all cases, in some cases, food packages, hygiene packages, care packages. So we have been doing the work and we have been assisting. The assessment is ongoing for those persons who were affected last week, and I think to date 235 assessments have been carried out already, but the work continues and we expect to go until May 26th to complete that.
The checks ranged from $20,000 to $50,000, but a resident of Bucks Avenue in Maypen, whose house was destroyed, received $100,000.
When the water came, it like tear down the wall beside me, so it falls. So every water they come in on me, so it destroy most of my stuff them or something.
Meanwhile, residents of flood-ravaged communities in northern Clarendon like Trout Hall and Frankfield may have to wait a while before electricity and water are restored to their area. That's the word from Northwest Clarendon MP Richard Azan and representatives of the National Works Agency who toured affected areas on Wednesday. TVJ's Krista Campbell reports.
Disaster and disappointment. That's the view of Northwest Clarendon MP Richard Azan following a tour of flood-ravaged areas of northern and northwestern Clarendon on Wednesday.
I have it as a very serious concern that the constituency is so hard hit and I don't get a call, not even a telephone call, to ask what happened in the constituency from any of the government ministers.
The government has been airlifting food and water to some of the worst hit areas in Clarendon, but many residents are still in desperate need of food and water. Residents of Trout Hall and surrounding communities have been without piped water because the pipelines were connected to 2 bridges which were washed away by the heavy flood waters.
You have pipelines that are facilitated as part of either as part of the bridge works that we'd have done, or later, because it is either you do that or you run that line in the riverbed. And if you put it in the riverbed, it is likely that it will be disrupted more often than not.
In some areas, the bathroom, pit toilets wash out and all of that, and therefore there's a problem. Water, I'm just appealing if we can find a way that the residents across, especially in the Frankfield area, can get some drinking water, because that would help. Because I'm telling you, I see what is going to happen.
Electricity is also a challenge, and according to the National Works Agency, it could take some time before it's fully restored to all the affected areas in Clarendon.
The light poles, I counted at least 8 that are down in different areas with transmission lines. And so unless the company undertakes to reroute some of these lines while the road work is pending, we'll have to fix some of these areas to allow the JPSCO access.
NAA Communication Manager Stephen Shaw says that will be a major challenge, as the roads need a lot of fixing and much money to do it. Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
The traffic signals at Flatbridge on the Bogwalk Gorgon St. Catherine are out of operations due to technical issues. The NAA says the electrical components of the traffic signals suffered significant damage during last week's flood rains. In a release, the NAA said the cabinet, which houses signals electrical controls, was impacted by water and heavy deposits of sand. Restoration of the cabinet will require time and resources. There is no timeline when the problem will be fixed. The NAA is advising motorists to proceed with caution and to treat the approaches to the Flatbridge as a four-way crossing which everyone must stop. Despite the fact that murders have surpassed the 100 mark in St. James since the start of the year, the police high command is still claiming some success. Senior Superintendent Marlon Nesbeth says the police have seized 51 illegal guns since the start of the year. During a series of operations in the parish last week, the police seized 7 illegal firearms, including a high-powered rifle. However, no arrests were made. Despite several new initiatives, St. James continues to lead the nation with murders and shootings. Last year, the parish recorded 268 murders. 2 people were shot by police this morning in Grange Hill, Westmoreland. The police reported that about 4:30, they were conducting an operation in the community when gunshots were fired at them. When the shootout ended, 2 men were seen suffering from gunshot wounds. They were taken to hospital where they died. Residents of Golden Heights in Green Pond, St. James are fuming following a fatal police shooting in the community yesterday morning. Reports indicate that around few minutes to 6 o'clock, residents heard gunshots. They then saw police officers remove a body from the community. The deceased has been identified as 20-year-old Mitchell Grant, more commonly known as Shane of Golden Heights. A member of the community who was close to the deceased reflected on the moments leading up to his death.
Last night I saw Shane, and Shane said to me, "Mommy, where they go?" He said, "Me they go around this baby." He hugged me up and he said, "Mommy, love you. See you tomorrow." I said, "Be careful on the road." He said, "Mommy, me I go in." That was the last message, Shane.
The woman, who said she was like a second mother to Shane, told TVJ News that he was a good young man.
Shane like everything to me. Shane, I'm my heart. Shane call me mommy, me them call him brother. If nobody no knows me and Shane a blood relative, nobody no know. Shane, I'm a gunman. They no catch Shane with no gun.
Concerned residents maintain that a community center needs to be established in Green Pond to help nurture young persons in the community. A motor vehicle accident along the Old Harbour Main Road has left 2 persons dead. A Flo-branded Toyota Hiace van, which was traveling towards Signum Villa, crashed into a Toyota coaster bus which was traveling from the opposite direction.
I was inside and I heard the impact, And when I came outside, I saw persons thrown from the buses. A lot of, maybe 2 or 3 persons I saw on the road. I don't know if they're alive. And the floor van here, the driver, he was tucked inside the vehicle. And then some persons from the coast, they were crying. It's a disaster, man. It's nasty.
The driver of the van and a passenger from the coaster bus later died from injuries received. The deceased man and woman have not yet been identified. The driver of the coaster bus suffered a broken leg and is being treated in hospital. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton is calling on the World Health Organization WHO to change its classification of ganja. Currently, the international organization categorizes ganja as a Schedule 1 drug. That is, an illegal drug with no medicinal benefits. However, Dr. Tufton wants it to be classified to a schedule which reflects its potential for medicinal uses. He argues that the change in classification is an important step in facilitating efforts by countries like Jamaica to promote its medicinal uses. The minister also urged the WHO to be more assertive in distinguishing between the medicinal and recreational dimensions of ganja in the interest of public health. Dr. Tufton made his position clear at the 70th World Health Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland. The National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, has partnered with the St. James Municipal Corporation to develop a garbage holding area in Norwood, Montego Bay. The NSWMA Western Regional Operations Manager says garbage disposal has been a serious issue in the community.
We shall be installing 4 skips, as you see, loading off on the arm from the flatbed, and that will allow the community to bring their garbage to place in the skip, and we will lift these skips on a daily basis so as to eliminate the rodent and whatever breakout of diseases that the improper disposal may cause.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the News, Sports and Production teams, good afternoon.